Before we get into it, subscribe, Queens, because we don't walk alone. This is your training ground. This is where emotional maturity gets enforced. And this is the space that protects your peace like it's royalty. Because it is. Welcome back to your crown. Let's make this clear today. Crystal clear. You are not available to nonsense. Not sometimes, not when you're feeling strong. No. Not when you've had enough. No, always. Because anything less becomes a portal for disrespect, drama, and depletion. And let's be honest, the version of you who used to entertain it, she knew better. She was just tired. She was hoping. She wanted to be the exception. But today, we're done with maybes. We're done with mixed signals. We're done with half effort, half energy, right? You are unavailable because you're not here to manage dysfunction and chaos and drama. You're here to enforce your divinity because you are divine. The standard is you are not emotionally accessible to chaos. You are not physically accessible to inconsistency. You are not mentally accessible to recycled red flags dressed up as change behavior. You are not available for someone who only wants you when they're lonely. You're not available for last-minute texts and next-day apologies. You are not available for conversations that go nowhere and energy that drains you. Let's define it. Let's define it even tighter right now. You don't answer late night WID text messages. You don't keep people in your life who confuse peace with boredom. You don't engage with what are we questions. That energy from men who got every opportunity to clarify things and chose not to. And if you've been available to nonsense, in the past, that wasn't weakness. That was untrained access. Today, we retrain it. Because every time you open the door to low effort energy, you're saying, my peace is optional. My clarity is negotiable. My crown can be set aside if the attention feels good enough. We don't do that anymore. You're either clear or you're caught. And queens don't get caught. They choose. Right? Let's talk about how it really looks when you're still available to nonsense. Even if you think you're doing better. You might say, I'm just keeping it casual. It's not serious. I'm just curious. He's working on himself. He just needs some time. I pulled back, but I don't want to be cold. Let me be direct. You're still emotionally negotiating with behavior that is beneath you. You know that, and I know that. You're still answering the door because a familiar knock feels easier than being alone. You're still hoping you're the exception to someone who's shown you how little they can carry. Here's what that actually means. You're still hoping attention will turn into effort. You're still hoping silence will magically become clarity. You're still accessible because being alone feels harder than being disrespected. But here's what you need to hear today. Peace requires protection. Clarity requires consequences. And if you keep entertaining confusion, don't be surprised when chaos becomes your companion. You don't set boundaries in theory. You enforce them in practice. And practice looks like no nonsense, no availability, no negotiation with energy that doesn't match your standard. Remember, you are a standard setter. That's who you are. I'm going to break this down from a masculine perspective. Men do not operate off of potential. They operate off of access. If he has access without effort, he will not increase his effort. Why would he? Why should he? If he texts at night or at midnight and you respond, he flakes on plans, you reschedule. He goes quiet, but you check in, he gives you crumbs, and you turn them into a feast. You are training him, you are teaching him that low effort is acceptable because there's still a reward. And here's a part most women miss. Men don't rise to your standards. They rise to your enforcement of them. If you say you want consistency but respond to chaos, he'll match your response, not your words. If you say you want clarity but answer to confusion and drama, he learns that confusion is enough. So what do? You remove access, not emotionally, not dramatically, not with a speech, just calm, clear, firm disconnection. You ever heard the phone where it says, this line has been disconnected? Yeah. Because masculine energy only becomes serious when access is earned. When access is earned, not assumed. Now let's get to the real reason this is hard. You want to be kind. You want to be open. You want to give him a chance. You don't want to be seen as bitter or rigid or cold. You don't want to miss out on something that could turn into more. But Queen, let's be honest. The only thing you're missing out on is your peace. Is your peace. This isn't about him. This is about you trusting yourself enough to stop needing potential to validate your hope. It's about finally admitting that your softness doesn't belong in untrained hands, unqualified hands. That your warmth has been mistaken for availability. It has. And that your openness has been confused with emotional permission to keep circling back. You are not a rehab center for emotionally unavailable men. You're not a landing pad for the unhealed. And you're not a reward for inconsistency. You are a resting place for real love, not a holding place for hope. And yes, cutting off access will feel uncomfortable at first. At first. You'll be tempted to check in. You'll wonder if maybe he'll notice. You will hope he'll rise. But every time you delay the cutoff, you delay the woman you're becoming. You delay her rise. And she's too powerful to keep waiting on people who don't know what to do with her and what to do with her light. She's too powerful. You're too powerful, love. Okay? So here's what you need to do today. Here's a decree. And I mean this with absolute clarity. You are unavailable. That's it. Today, you don't answer vague text messages. You don't entertain half interest. You don't respond to silence with softness. You don't negotiate with confusion. You don't offer emotional explanations to someone who never gave you emotional safety. You don't chase closure. You become it. You don't adjust your standard to avoid being alone. You hold your crown and walk alone if necessary. Because you are no longer available to vibes with no mission and no vision. Nah, charm with no consistency, swag, with no follow through, contacting you with no commitment, and presence without any pursuit. No, you're not available for that anymore. You're not. And you don't bend. This is your reminder, and say this with me, like it's law. I'm unavailable to nonsense. I do not explain my peace. I do not reward chaos with connection. I'm unavailable to inconsistency. I'm unavailable to half-effort energy. I'm unavailable to the idea that love must be earned through endurance. What a wicked thing. I hold the line. I hold my peace. I protect my light. Because a queen knows her power and doesn't entertain what drains it. You deserve the world, and you are worthy of it. And let me leave you with this. You are not cold. You're not mean. You're not harsh. You are unavailable to what no longer serves you. You are unavailable to energy that distorts your vision. You are unavailable to anything that pulls you out of alignment with your purpose and God's plan. And that is what emotional maturity looks like. The woman you're becoming, she doesn't need to be liked. She doesn't need to be soft when clarity is required. She doesn't need to over-explain why she's no longer answering. They know. She's too focused on protecting the empire she's building, not explaining why she left the sandbox to the kiddos, right? Hold your standard, queen, and subscribe. This is where lessons are taught. Because queens don't walk alone, they lead. They lead. And again, as always, stay blessed and stay crowned. Have a beautiful day, queen.